Welcome back to MVM. Today I have a preview of Skytear from PvP Geeks. This is a two-player, one-on-one, MOBA-inspired board game in which you're going to take control of a faction and a group of heroes and battle it out to complete one of the game-ending objectives. If you look at the board out in front of me, I do want to specifically say that this is just a prototype. A lot has changed in the game even since I've gotten my copy. I know they're constantly going to be balancing and tweaking some of these characters to make for the most balanced experience possible. So certain things you see on the screen, especially when it comes to character stats and card costs and things like that, are not final. In addition, I'm using these standees here. These standees are going to be replaced with miniatures for the final version of the game. We'll link to the Kickstarter page. You can take a look. You can see what the minions are going to look like and everything that you're going to get in the final version of the game. But for now, I'm going to be referencing this prototype. Every faction is going to have a board. These two boards are going to come together in the middle to form one large board. Now, again, I have a preset board with two preset factions here in front of me, but in the final version of the game, you're going to be able to choose from these different factions, deciding on one that best suits your play style. Once you've set up the board, you're going to put out your temple tokens. These tokens are going to determine the life points of your temples. If you've ever played a MOBA game before, you'll know that the goal of the game is to push forward with your minions and try to destroy these temples. In addition, every player is going to draft a certain set of heroes. Now, it's going to be a snaking draft back and forth from the first player. For this, again, I'm using just like a pre-selected starter kit version, but there are going to be a ton of heroes in the final version. Every hero has factions. Up here, you'll notice that they're tied into specific factions. They also have health, damage, defense, and a ton of different abilities. And these heroes are all very unique, and they all come with their own 10-card deck. So I'm going to gather all of the 10-card decks, meaning 40 total cards, put them together, shuffle them up, and then I have my deck of cards for the game. Now, you'll notice there aren't a ton of dice out here on the board. There is one die, but this just serves as the round tracker. The game is played over 6 rounds or until someone finishes one of those victory conditions. So to set up, you're going to take your deck, draw 5 cards, build up your temples, set your character's life totals. Each player is going to have a life bar along the side and use these tokens to represent health. And you're going to choose 3 random game end objectives. There are a ton to choose from. You're just going to randomly deal out 3. Now, the goal of the game is just to complete one of these game end objectives. As soon as one player completes one objective, that's game over and they win. For example, some of these objectives might have you kill enemy heroes, destroy temples, or perform certain actions that aren't even combat driven. So once this is all set up, the starting player takes the die, puts it on the 1 symbol for round 1, and then we're ready to play the game. Now, the game is played over 2 phases, the hero phase and the minion phase. During the hero phase, my opponent and I are going to move back and forth, taking actions with our heroes. We're each going to take one set of actions for each hero, meaning you're going to take basically 4 turns in a round. Now, your hero can do a couple different things. They have 3 action points to spend, and they can use those to either take basic actions or boosted actions. The most basic of those is to move. You can either move 3 spaces, or you can boost that action for 2 AP to move 5. You can also get into combat. Now, every hero has either a melee or ranged attack, as well as some skills that are either passively or actively going to boost some of those attacks and things like that. If you look at a character sheet, for example, I'll pull this guy up. Whenever he attacks, he does 3 damage, and I draw 2 cards. If I boost that attack, he does 4 damage, and I draw 3 cards. Now, like I said, he has a base of 3. I draw 2 cards. So this deck of cards serves a secondary purpose of having these +1 or +2, +3, or even 0 markers on them. This is going to give me a bonus to that attack. So there is a little bit of unpredictability with how much damage you're going to do. When I deal damage to a minion, it's flat out destroyed. So these little figures on the board just killed in 1 hit. But heroes have their own defense. So if I deal damage to a hero, subtract the defense, they take damage. My goal is to get them down to 0. Once I get them down to 0, they're knocked out. Now, they'll come back later in traditional MOBA style, but they're at least not a worry for me right now. So I can move, I can attack, I can use any of their skills. And like I said, these skills are a variety of different things, from moving to giving me more attacks to just interacting with the battlefield in specific ways. But the majority of the time you're going to be moving around trying to position your guys in order to do the most damage. The last thing you can do is meditate. Now when I meditate, I'm going to draw a card into my hand, and then I'm going to choose a card to discard. And I'll talk about what these cards do in a second, but you can actually kind of keep refilling your hand by meditating. If you boost that meditate by spending an additional AP, you get to flat out draw a card without having to discard one back into your hand. So it's good to have these cards. In addition to that, every faction is going to have a special faction ability they can use. For example, the red faction here can curse its opponents, and the blue faction can actually shapeshift its heroes into more powerful versions of that hero. So there's definitely some asymmetry to those heroes. The other thing a hero can do that doesn't take an action is play a card. Now, if you look at these cards, you're going to notice they have a mana cost in the top right-hand corner. You can cast mana up to the current round. Basically, every round you're going to generate mana equal to the round number. So at the start of the game, we're going to generate 1. It's going to go up to 2, 3, 4, all the way to the last turn. Each hero will be generating 6 mana. Now, I can play these cards however I like, as long as the symbol on my hero matches the symbol in the top card. And since there's 10 cards for every hero in your deck, you should be drawing into them. So I'm going to look at my hand. I can play cards. Again, these are going to do damage. They're going to move. They're going to pull enemy heroes towards me. Some are going to sit out on the battlefield and permanently boost a specific area of the board. And others are just going to like heal, retreat. There's just a lot of combat tricks you can do with these cards. But you need to plan carefully because you don't draw a ton. You only draw 1 card every round. You can earn more by doing specific things in the game, like killing enemy heroes or destroying temples, but you're only guaranteed to get 1 card. So these are a little scarce, so you don't want to just throw them all out right away whenever you can. So once each hero has moved back and forth taking those hero actions, it's time to do the Minion Phase. Now, the Minion Phase is definitely the MOBA style part of the board game. Now, if you look at the board, you're going to see 3 distinct areas. You have the left lane, the center lane, and the right lane. You're going to look at each of these areas, and you're going to calculate total control of that area. You're going to look at the wave marker, which my version of the prototype actually doesn't have one, but you're going to just, there would be a wave marker that moves back and forth. So whoever has the most control, meaning 1 point for every character, both hero and minion that's in that lane, they're going to push that wave token closer to the enemy, deal damage to their temples and minions, and spawn more guys. So for example, if I have 6 guys in an area and my opponent has 4, I'm doing 2 damage to that lane. If there are no minions, I do that 2 damage straight to the temple. If there are minions, I have to kill the minions first. In addition, I get to move that wave marker 2 spaces and spawn 2 minions. So if you can get a lot of area control on a side, you can really push that wave marker. You can start spawning minions right outside the temple, and you can deal a ton of damage. So the game is not necessarily long. It runs about 30 minutes to an hour. And that's going to be done on both the left and right sides on the board. So you're going to have this shifting dynamic of push and pull, trying to get those tokens back and forth. Now, the center zone, which is its own kind of unique bubble, is very different. And there's no damage dealt in that area, but whoever wins that area is going to gain control of the outsider. The outsider is a powerful dragon that will come in to help you. The dragon's going to come in on the board, and it's going to get to take a number of actions equal to that difference. Again, if I have 6 control and my opponent has 4, then my dragon can take 2 actions. Once it's done, it stays where it is. On the next turn, if the opponent takes control of it, it starts off right where it was before. So your goal is to just push and pull and try to deal damage to the enemy temples. However, destroying the temples is not necessarily going to win you the game. It's only going to win you the game if that is one of the objectives up here. And since there are a ton of different objectives, you might be fighting over different things every time you play the game. So that is Skytear in a nutshell. It's got a ton of variability. You've got a ton of heroes, all with those different abilities. I can't even talk about every possible thing you're going to be able to do, but there are tons of status effects you can inflict, tons of combat tricks you can perform, and a lot of ways to maneuver around the board and try to complete those objectives first. So take a look at this game. It is on Kickstarter right now. You'll see all the final components, minis, all the different factions and heroes and everything they have in store for the campaign. Come back here to leave any comments and ask any questions. I will do my best to answer all of them. And as always, thank you for watching us here at MVM. Please subscribe here, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and just catch everything we do. And I will see you next time.